What's up, guys? So for today's video, we're going to be talking about why, in my opinion, NA has really fallen behind Japan in Smash. And I feel like it's been like a gradual thing over the past couple of years where America's really struggled to keep up with Japanese Smash players. And it's really come to peak currently at Golden Week, where there's two P-tier events, which is the biggest tier of events possible. Delta and Kagaribi. And not a single international player made top 8 at either event. Our peak at both of them was 9th, with Leo getting 9th at Delta, and then Glutony getting 9th at Kagaribi, with our highest NA player being Meister, I think, at 13th. Spargo got 33rd, Leo got 25th. We had a lot of good players. We had those. We had Goblin, Jazzo, Base Mage, Big D. We had a lot of good players there. It just didn't matter. We got destroyed. So what's going on? What has happened? And I'm gonna say right now, I think there is a really big shift in people's mentality towards the game improvement, just motivation, since the circus got canceled in 2022. And all the stuff happened with Panda Global and VG Bootcamp, Smash World Tour, Panda Cup. And I can say personally, I lost a lot of motivation. I didn't play the game seriously for 3 months. After that happened, I'm just what's the point, right? And I just use that as the basis point when I really feel like the shift started to happen. And I think the initial reason why. Obviously, I'm more into just practicing the game and stuff now. I'm going to a lot of events in the next few months. Honestly, I might be overloading myself on events and getting burnt out. But we'll see. But yeah, so what's going on? First thing to address, and this is kind of just unscripted, just my thoughts going off. I think people just generally don't have the best mentality when it comes to this game and the state it's in, right? America just doesn't like Smash, it feels. It feels like we just complain about the game. And I'm not excused from this either, right? I'm I hate Steve, hate Sonic, hate Bayonetta, yada yada. But I feel like a lot of people forget that this game is still a good game. It has its issues. No game is perfect. And I think Ultimate's actually a great game with issues. A lot of characters that are annoying to fight. And at the end of the day, I always tell people this. You either accept the game for what it is, and you get better at it, or you quit. If you don't like the game, don't play it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. And you're allowed to complain as much as you want. But you have to accept that you either learn to fight these characters, or you just are going to lose to them, period, right? And there's no real other option. So, yeah, and I know what I did, for example, myself, is I hate Steve. I was struggling with the character. And then I decided I was going to learn Steve. I was going to pick him as a main, and then I got really bored with him and didn't want to play him anymore. I just couldn't motivate myself to, grind Smash a lot while I was playing Steve. But I also did that because I wanted to learn how to fight the character better. And that, month or two of seriously playing a lot of Steve, I understood the character so much better than before. I understood his strengths, his weaknesses, and, the nuances of it besides, minecart, block, aerials are strong, back air broken, diamond, yada yada. And I went from losing to Syrup, a really good Steve, at my local, to beating him the last 3 times I played him since that Steve grind arc. And that's what you gotta do sometimes. Sometimes you have to sit down and say, I'm gonna play a character to get better at fighting it. And that's just the mentality you have to approach is, you don't like it? Too bad. You gotta deal with it. Now, next thing, of course, Wi-Fi in Smash sucks. I don't gotta explain why the online infrastructure for this game is bad. Playing someone from the West Coast, it's awful. With that said, I think there can be much better matchmaking to be able to practice game with people in your region and get good games going. Because something I find difficult is just finding good games. I find it difficult to find good games with people regularly, right? I'm a top player. There's Ryuga Core people talk about, and I've heard mixed things about it. I've heard some people say you can get in if you want really easily, just apply. And then other people have said it's gate kept where you need results to get in. Otherwise, you can't get into the lowest section. So comments, let me know what is going on with that. Can anyone get in? Do you need results? Yeah, I always feel bad when someone asks me during a coaching session, hey, where can I practice? And I'm always ask friends, maybe use a Smash subreddit Discord. Maybe that's active. I don't know. The fact that I can't genuinely tell someone this is where to go to improve is rough. Even with resources that kind of spread out everywhere. Although I will say a lot of character Discords are pretty good to improve on. They have a lot of resources and a lot of those. But anyway. So yeah, that's an issue for sure. And also the fact that we don't have like a ladder service. I remember Brawl, we had all this Brawl, and it's amazing. Japan has Smash Mate, which is like everyone plays there. Literally, like the best players in Japan currently, Akala, Mia, Hurt, all grinded Smash Mate and got really good for going to offline events. And like that's their culture. I remember hearing about a Japanese Ice Climber player that beat Shuton at like their second tournament or something, and they said they wouldn't go to tournaments until they hit a certain elo in Smash Mate. Like that's their culture. They have, I think, 3-month seasons. They make tier lists and matchup charts based on the win rates from these seasons. It also helps that, Japan's a smaller, densely populated country, so you have a lot of players in a small area fighting each other, which makes like better online experience, sure. But compare that to Matchbox in America, where it came out, people were hyping it up and grinding and streaming it for like a week or two. And I remember my experience with it. I was having a good amount of fun. I was playing 3 different accounts: Solo Steve, Solo Nim, and Solo Rosa. And I was like getting good practice for a while. I remember I stopped playing though when it started dying, right? They did like the matchmaking change with like the latency mod versus no mod and best 3, best 5, which, well, that hurt it a lot. But I remember I was trying to get matches and I waited like 10 minutes to fight a Misordi. It was very laggy. He was like from the West Coast. We both did not want to play each other again. We played the set and we're like, no more. We got matched into each other again. We declined. And then I just couldn't get matches except for like 1,500 MR people. I was like 1,900 at the time, which is like basically new accounts almost. And it was like, it's fine if I fight lower ranked people, but I'd be waiting for a lot of time just to fight someone I'm 2-0ing, or to fight someone where like neither me or the person wants to play because the connection's bad, because online. And I was like barely top 100 rankings at the time. So like there was 100 people above me on this ladder. I was playing like 9 p.m. Eastern, like a reasonable time. So it's like people just stopped using that, and it's a domino effect, right? As the good players don't use the ladder, the lower level players can't find matches. They stop using it, and suddenly now no one's on it. I also think it hurts that like it wasn't really supported that well. Like there was like no seasons, no incentives. I'm not talking about like money incentive. I'm just talking about like some like reason to like get higher MMR, some goals, like something. I feel like infinitely going ladders just leads to people getting bored with it. Where I like what Street Fighter does in comparison with 3-month ladders, where it's like more motivation to like see how far I can get in that 3 months elo wise. I mean, I think those things, the matchmaking Discord and like a ladder website people want to use, would help significantly for people trying to prove an ultimate in America. Next up, and I think this is just a logistical issue, sadly, with no good solution. But like, it's hard to go to events in America. Big country, right? If I want to fly to California, 6+ hour flight, $500. Not including the price for the event itself, hotel, and obviously with Liquid they cover that. But it's still expensive for someone to foot that bill. And compare that, and like let's say an area with like no like airports nearby, right? There's no big events near you. You don't even have locals. Like there's no public trans. Like I'm lucky to live in Tri-State, where there is a lot of events nearby. There's events in Florida, quick flight. Events in the Midwest, like Michigan, Chicago, quick flights. You have less big moves and collision. It's like I'm lucky there's a lot of events nearby me, because if I lived in an area without many events, I'd just be like, well, I guess I can't go to that many events, period. And yeah, I think it's just a logistical issue where it's hard for people to travel, it's expensive, and then events are also kind of just closing down because they can't afford to stay up. This year we have temporary cancellations, I think they're planning to come back next year. We have Rise and Grind, Crown, and Popularity all said they're not running this year, but will run next year. And it's like, that's 3 big events we're not getting this year. We lost like BTS, VG Bootcamp, and Panda when it comes to big events. Like we just lost so many events. And from a more logistics standpoint, I think these events getting significantly less viewership because everyone dooms about Ultimate. Everyone's like, Ultimate sucks, the game's awful to watch. Once again, I'm not completely guilt-free of this. Sometimes I watch a tournament and I'm like, I don't feel like watching this top 8, I'm gonna skip it. But it's definitely like a thing where it's like, I think the big thing is like complaining about it and making sure everyone knows the game sucks versus just like saying, okay, I don't feel like watching this and doing something else is an important mentality shift. You don't have to pretend to enjoy something you don't want. You don't want to watch it, whatever. But yeah, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But yeah, so just logistically, compare that to Japan where they have a lot of big events and keep getting more. Like, I feel like all the top players are getting sponsored. Their viewership on these events in Japan is amazing. When players stream in Japan, their stream numbers, like the top players, even like high-level players there, get really good stream numbers. So they get more sponsorship opportunities. Helps events get more sponsorships as well, run more events, bigger events. And like, it feels like it's snowballing in a great way for them. Where in America, we're really receding right now. I mean, we have some top players that can't even get a sponsor. Imagine winning like the biggest event in America and not being able to get a sponsor. And it's unfortunate. I don't know what the answer is, but it is a real issue. Where I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, just play for the love of the game, whatever. But like, if you can't afford to go to these events, you can't even play for the love of the game. If you don't have bullet trains that let you go across the entire country in like 5 hours, well. So yeah, I think those are all issues. I feel like there was one other issue that was in my head about this. Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember the last thing in my head because I just kind of wrote this unscripted. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what your experiences are as a top player. I've obviously had different experiences with trying to improve and practice and yada yada than most people would. Yeah, and I think it's possible to revert this. You know, some things are rough, but definitely the right mentality shift and acceptance of the game and focus on just improvement. Oh, here's one. I think too many people focus on matchups. Like, I'm not gonna say there's no bad matchups in the game, right? I'm not gonna tell you, you know, any Ganondorf can beat a good Sonic. What I am gonna say is, there's a lot of people who aren't that good at the game who come to me and they're like, bro, I don't know, should I play 2 characters? I want to play Fox, and then I want to play Mimit for his bad matchups. And I'm like, dude, you literally go 1-2. Fox isn't the issue. I don't care if it's a hard matchup for Fox. Like, you're better off learning the Icy's matchup with Fox and trying to learn Mimit as well as learning Fox when you're not good at the game. Because then both of your characters are going to suck and you're going to get nowhere. And like, that's the honest truth, right? But so many people hyper-focus on, gotta play a good character. Someone told me this character's not worth playing, not solo viable, I need secondaries, you need the counter pick. And people forget at the end of the day, you know, just because the matchup's hard doesn't make it unwinnable. We have literally Banjo-Kazooie, like, being a top 20, potentially top... We might have a top 10 player at the end of the season playing Banjo-Kazooie. Shattuck has made Corrin, a character people thought was garbage. He's going to be top 5 at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like, matchups matter, character strengths matter, but it's not the reason you're losing. Even at top level, it can hurt you, but it's not the thing holding you back. Your focus shouldn't be on that stuff. Oh, it drives me insane when I give like a coaching session. Someone's like, yeah, man, I don't know if Solo Wolf can do it. Who should I play as well? I'm like, or they're like, yeah, I want to play like Link, but I'm told he's not good. I'm going to play Game Watch instead. And I'm like, if you like Link, just play Link, bro. You'll be better at the game with a character you enjoy than forcing yourself to play a character you don't really want to play. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun at the end of the day. And also, just a general thing is, when you're playing with someone, it's very important to like talk about the matches and give each other advice when you can. Like, especially if it's someone you expect to play regularly, giving them advice to be better versus you helps them make you better, right? It kind of is like a nice bouncing effect. So just keep that in mind. That like the people you're practicing with are going to be the people that help you improve, and you're going to get as good as your practice generally. But yeah, guys, once again, let me know your comments and the thoughts below. This is just my like random rant on this stuff, and who knows, maybe I'll be wrong and America starts destroying Japan the next half of the year, and it's like, oh, we just got bad brackets or something. But maybe the gap gets even bigger, and that's what I'm worried about, right? I think it's what everyone's worried about talking about. So guys, that's my thoughts. Peace out.